In the deep blue of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, an invisible dance between wind and water dictates the rhythm of Earth's climate. In normal years, the trade winds blow tirelessly from east to west, pushing sun-warmed surface waters toward Asia and Oceania. This movement allows the cold, nutrient-rich waters of the ocean floor to rise off the coast of South America, sustaining immense marine biodiversity. However, at intervals ranging from 2 to 7 years, this perfect mechanism fails. The trade winds weaken substantially or, in more severe events, reverse their direction. Without the force of the winds to push it, a colossal mass of warm water begins to recede, shifting toward the coasts of Peru and Ecuador. This abnormal warming of the Pacific surface waters is the birth of El Niño. As the ocean warms, the atmosphere above it responds immediately. The gigantic low-pressure zone and rain cloud formation, which normally floats over Indonesia, migrates toward the center of the ocean. This change alters global air circulation patterns, known as the Walker cell. The heat released by the warmed waters acts as a colossal engine, injecting massive amounts of energy and moisture into the upper atmosphere. This energetic pulse modifies the behavior of jet streams, high-speed rivers of wind that crisscross the planet. The alteration of these currents acts as a global domino effect, reconfiguring temperatures and rainfall patterns across multiple continents, setting the stage for severe climate extremes. The planet's response to the migration of ocean heat is immediate and devastating. In Western Asia, Indonesia, and Northern Australia, where rainfall should be abundant, dry air descends with full force. The result is prolonged and severe droughts. Once wet tropical forests become ablaze. Historic wildfires blanket Southeast Asia with choking clouds of smoke, destroying ecosystems and threatening the health of millions. In India, monsoon rains, vital for agriculture that feeds over 1 billion people, fail or become dangerously irregular. While one side of the world burns, the other drowns. On the west coast of South America, the scenario is drastically reversed. The coastal desert of Peru and the arid regions of Ecuador receive torrential rainfall in just a few days, triggering floods and landslides. Beyond the destruction in cities, marine ecology suffers a profound blow. The warm waters of El Niño block the upwelling of cold nutrients. Without food, plankton disappears, causing the collapse of fish and seabird populations and paralyzing the local fishing industry. In Africa, the phenomenon exacerbates famine, bringing extreme drought to the south of the continent, while causing devastating floods in East Africa. Even distant oceans feel the impact. The global increase in water temperature triggers mass coral bleaching in places like the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. El Niño reveals itself as an interconnected crisis, where temperature changes in a single ocean are capable of simultaneously destabilizing food security, the economy, and ecosystems across the entire planet. As the effects of El Niño spread northward, North America comes to the forefront of the phenomenon. In the United States, the impact is felt most intensely during the winter months, when the dynamics of the jet streams dictate the country's climate. The warming of the Pacific alters the polar jet stream, pushing it further north over Canada. At the same time, the subtropical jet stream intensifies and extends across the southern U.S. This configuration creates an atmospheric barrier that prevents the freezing Arctic air from the north from descending toward American territory. As a direct consequence, the northern states, from the Pacific Northwest to the Great Lakes region and New England, experience significantly milder and warmer winters than the historical average, often with less snow. In contrast, the subtropical jet stream, now energized and laden with moisture from the Pacific, continuously sweeps across the southern half of the country. States like California, Arizona, Texas, Louisiana, and Florida face a succession of severe storms. Low-pressure systems bring torrential and persistent rainfall to the West Coast, replenishing depleted reservoirs but also generating severe risks of flash floods and landslides on vulnerable slopes. In Florida and along the Gulf Coast, winter often turns into a gray, rainy, and considerably colder than normal period due to persistent cloud cover. This drastic climatic divide splits the nation into two opposing seasonal realities. The impacts of El Niño in the United States go far beyond weather reports. directly affecting the heart of the American economy. One of the most notable effects is seen in the commodities market and agriculture. In the Corn Belt and grain-producing regions of the Midwest, the milder climate can alter the planting season. In California, excess moisture benefits pastures and alleviates historical water crises, but severe storms also flood fields of valuable crops, such as almonds and vegetables, damaging harvests. The energy sector also experiences a seesaw effect. The mild winter in the most populous northern states drastically reduces the demand for heating and natural gas, driving down energy prices, while the South consumes more resources to cope with storms and atypically unstable winters. Interestingly, El Niño brings temporary relief to the American East Coast in the preceding summer and fall. It increases wind shear, changes in wind speed and direction at different altitudes over the Atlantic Ocean. This disrupts the structure of forming hurricanes, resulting in a much less active Atlantic hurricane season and saving billions of dollars in potential coastal damage. However, the phenomenon takes its toll on urban infrastructure through coastal flooding caused by temporary sea level rise in the Pacific and destructive winter storms that damage roads and power grids. In the final analysis, El Niño costs the U.S. economy billions of dollars in repairs and agricultural losses, proving that no country, however wealthy, is immune to the vagaries of global climate.